These are my college football week 1 predictions. Going to be giving you guys my picks. Let's start off with Florida versus Utah. It's already been announced that Cam Rising isn't going to play in this game. I still like Utah. They're playing at home. They're going to have the home field advantage. I think that playing in that atmosphere is going to be a little bit different for Florida to be able to handle. And I do think that Graham Mertz can be competent in this game. I do think that he can have a solid showcase in this matchup. You remember how Bo Nix and Michael Penix were able to resurrect their careers when they transferred to those 2 Pac-12 programs in Washington and Oregon? Wisconsin wasn't really a program that was known for being able to develop quarterbacks at a high level. Graham Mertz could surprise some people, but overall, I still think that Utah has a better overall team. Michigan is going to beat Eastern Carolina or East Carolina. Even without Jim Harbaugh, they still are a way better team than East Carolina. TCU is playing Colorado. I like Colorado. I'm trying to tell you people, y'all are massively underrated Deion Sanders and this Colorado Buffs team. They have way too much talent for them to just go into that game and get blown out. Give me Colorado, and I like them to cover as well. Shedeur Sanders gives Colorado the advantage at quarterback. Chandler Morris doesn't have the same productivity that Shedeur has. They also got game changers. You got Travis Hunter, Cormani McClain, a really good secondary. TCU's going to have a really good defense, but TCU offensively, I don't know about them in this game. Iowa should handle Utah, even though we don't know about that offense. Cade McNamara, there's some injury skepticism about him. Oklahoma is going to take care of Arkansas State. I think Oklahoma is a little overrated this year. They're going to get tested against SMU next week. Tennessee is going to beat Virginia. Virginia is probably one of the worst teams in college football this year. They don't really got a lot of talent. Ole Miss is going to beat Mercer. Oregon over Portland State. Notre Dame is going to continue to roll against Tennessee State. Wisconsin, they're going to beat Buffalo. Indiana is terrible. Give me Ohio State. Washington should beat Boise State. Even though Boise State is an interesting team, they may be able to keep it close in the first half with Washington, but we'll see. Rice, there's no reason Texas should be losing to some food, especially with them having Alabama next week on the schedule. They should be extremely motivated. They should be ready to come out and prove themselves against Rice, make an example out of them, and build some momentum going into Tuscaloosa next week. Georgia doesn't play nobody for the next couple of weeks. Georgia has the easiest path to a three-peat that we may have ever seen in the history of college football. They don't play a great team until late in the season when they got to go on the road and play Tennessee. USC is going to beat Nevada. We're going to see how that defense looks in this game. San Diego State or San Jose State, they had a really good quarterback. We're going to see if Nevada is going to do anything, but I don't think Nevada's that good. Kansas State plays Southeastern Missouri State. Texas A&M is going to handle New Mexico. Man, I love South Carolina against North Carolina. North Carolina is so Drake May dependent that if Drake May doesn't have a good game, I don't really think that this game is going to be that close. Drake May is damn near a god at quarterback. There's not a single throw that he can't make. And even though UNC may not have a great team around him, they still, with him in the game, are a threat to win the majority of their matchups as long as he's playing at a high level. I think that South Carolina, though, is going to get some really good quarterback play out of Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler, the last 3 games of 2022, he was absolutely on fire. He couldn't be stopped, especially against Tennessee, where he torched them for 6 touchdowns and no picks. If he can carry that momentum that he had in 2022 into this season, South Carolina should win this game. They're a more talented team than North Carolina. Their offensive line should be improved this year. UNC's defense has been non-existent for the last couple of years. South Carolina, they do have a lot of talent in the secondary, and they got a lot of confidence that their defensive line should be able to step up this year. Penn State is going to beat West Virginia. Things are looking really dim for West Virginia right now, especially their head coach who is on the hot seat. Shout out to Mid-Tennessee State. My boy Ralph Mincy plays for them, but I'm sorry, my boy. Y'all going to get blown the hell out by Alabama. Y'all have no chance in that game. This ain't Miami, bruh. This is Alabama and Tuscaloosa. Yeah, and they got some shit to prove, so I like Alabama to beat them, but shout out to my boys, Mid-Tennessee State. Love my boy Ralph Mincy. Tulane, I like them over South Alabama. Oregon State should be San Jose State. We're going to see if San Jose State has as much success offensively in this game that they did against USC. Oregon State has a significantly better defense than USC, and they're better up front than USC, in my opinion, at least from a performance standpoint. I like Florida State to beat LSU, man. I really believe that Florida State has a way better squad than what LSU has. LSU, they have a really talented team, but I think that when you look at all of the additions that Florida State has made in the transfer portal over the last 3 years, Jordan Travis is from the transfer portal. Johnny Wilson is 6'5", 235, 240 pounds at wide receiver. I don't know if LSU has anybody in that secondary who can stop that, man. And then you got Jaheim Bell. He's a freak. This man was doing everything for South Carolina last year. He was a tight end playing wildcat quarterback, H-back. He can play receiver. There's no limit to the talent that FSU has this year. I like them over LSU. LSU has some questions on the interior of their offensive line. They got 2 outstanding offensive tackles. They were 2 freshman All-Americans. But their interior offensive line is really questionable. I like Clemson to handle Duke, even though Duke is not a team that I'm going to overlook. I think that Duke, I don't really think that they have the talent. I got to enter a tiebreaker value. What's the tiebreaker value? What's that at? How do you enter the tiebreaker value? Man, I don't even know how you even put the... Oh, there it goes, man. Predict the combined points scored by both teams in the game indicated. Man, I think that Duke Clemson, they're probably going to end up having 63 points combined. Oh, I said 73, 63. I think that Clemson probably is going to win by at least 2 touchdowns, but Duke can put some points up on those boys.